Friday morning, it was all hands on deck to get everything ready to head down to Tennessee. Me and the turd barrels jumped in the dually and went down to Hebron to fill up some fuel jugs with E85. I just want to make sure I've got plenty of fuel no matter what I get into this weekend. By the time I got back, Jeremy had the dually all ready to go, and the old Malibu was all cleaned up, ready to head south. To be honest, I couldn't wait to get that car out of the garage and into the trailer so I can get out of this cold, miserable weather here in Ohio. Once we had the car tied down in the trailer, I fired up the dually and backed it out in the driveway where Vicky loaded up the rest of her stuff that she needs to bring with us for our 2-day stay in Tennessee. Once we left the driveway, it was time to head down to the Flying J and top the truck off with a little bit of fuel before we hit the highway. According to my GPS, it's about a 6-hour drive. However, by the time you stop a couple times to fill up and potty the dogs, it takes a little bit longer than that. I'm figuring about 7.5 hours total by the time we get down there. However long it takes, it's well worth it to get out of this miserable, cold, snowy weather and hopefully trade in all this cloudy, gloomy, overcast skies for bright blue skies and sunny weather. And the closer we got to Tennessee, the better I felt about our chances for achieving that goal. We crossed over the state line from Kentucky into Tennessee just about sunset. Thankfully, we didn't have a single problem crossing Jellicoe Mountain with the truck and trailer, and we even managed to make it to the track and get a pit spot and unload the car, the golf cart, and everything else that we needed to unpack to get ready to stay the night here in the trailer. The Malibu fired right up, and I pulled it outside and let it warm up, and I figured while we've got the car out, we might as well take the opportunity to drive it uptown and go get something for dinner. Luckily, just about anything you could ever want for dinner is within 5 minutes of the track. So we went uptown, got something to eat, and came back and went to bed so that we could get up the next morning and get started getting everything ready for the streetcar shootout at English Mountain Raceway. You couldn't ask for nicer weather or more beautiful scenery. The track is located just a couple miles west of downtown Newport, Tennessee, right off the Cosby Highway. As you come out of town west, you start down this hill, and almost to the bottom of the hill is Lewis Road, and the track entrance is literally just a few hundred feet off Cosby Highway. Now, this track was actually shut down for about 5 years when a group of guys decided to open the track one weekend for a bunch of street racers to come out and race. Since then, the track has been able to turn enough profit to buy a new timing system and make some much needed improvements to keep the place going. The first 330 feet is pretty decent concrete, but after that, it's very old coarse blacktop. So that's what I need to get the Malibu ready to compete on this evening. I decided to get the car warmed up, put some heat in it, and take it down Cosby Highway and make a couple test hits on it just to make sure the carburetor was going to be okay to leave off and idle without any stumbles. Plus, I used this opportunity to turn the bottle heater on and warm the nitrous bottle up before I come back to the track to check out the surface. So we're out here on the starting line. What we're going to use as the starting line today. As you can see, there's concrete from the starting line, the actual starting line on the track. There's concrete out here to 330 feet. We're going to have us do our burnout on the concrete, and then this is the starting line out here where these two double yellow lines are painted. We're going to start at 330 feet basically, and we're going to go through the shutdown past the scoreboards. And they're out there marking the finish line right now. I'm a little bit concerned today because the Malibu, the suspension on the car is set up for not this, not really this. I went ahead and tightened the rear shocks on the back of the car a few clicks. As you guys probably saw in the testing video before we came down here, I had a little problem with that. The instant center on the car is set way too short, and it makes the car really bite hard initially, but it'll unload the tire pretty quick once it leaves the starting line. So, like I said, I've tightened the rear shocks a little bit, trying to help that. But man, this is really rough. It's coarse. There's a lot of cracks. It's going to be difficult. I went ahead and took 4 degrees of timing out of it on motor, and then just deleted my retard for nitrous on the first stage, because I'm trying to pull a little bit of power out of it on motor to get it to launch and get it to leave without kicking the tire. I took it out on the road this morning and made a couple little test hits, and it's going to be difficult. I'm probably going to have to just baby it out of the hole, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It's got a brand new set of tires on it, so that's good. I've got some really good traction compound that I'm trying this weekend. I'm hoping that helps.
And good news, you found somebody to pour your puddle.
Yeah, Robbie Dollar's going to be pouring my puddles for me today. He's down here with a friend of his that was testing with us at Wilkesboro last weekend, so he's going to be here to help me pour puddles.
I knew somebody with way more experience was going to be able.
Right. So we'll see how things go today. If we go out first round, guess what we're going to do?
Go have fun.
Yeah, we're going to go to Gatlinburg.
There's really no losing today.
So as it turns out, after we got done checking out the track surface, we found quite a few people waiting to see us up at the trailer. So we spent about an hour or so visiting with people up there and letting everybody check out the car and answering questions about the Nitrous Express nitrous controller and the nitrous system. Finally, the track operator called everybody to the starting line for the driver's meeting and chip draw. I ended up pulling second pair right lane with a black Corvette. The car definitely looks fast, and the driver seems pretty confident, as he wanted to lock in $100 or $200 on the side for first round. So hopefully I can get the win, and that'll give me a little extra spending money to go to Gatlinburg later on this afternoon. So I went ahead and put my helmet on and I was ready to go. But the first pair of cars ahead of me were squabbling a little bit over class rules. Now, I don't know what was said. I was busy sitting in the car, but evidently the guy in the Corvette didn't think that the S10 should be allowed to run in the streetcar class. Eventually both drivers buckled in, and the S10 ended up taking the win after the Corvette swapped lanes and almost hit the guardrail. Of course, I didn't see any of this happening through the crowd of people standing on the starting line. I was just happy that it was finally time for me to go up and start my burnout. I could hear the cars were getting loose ahead of me, so I decided to take it easy on the launch. I ended up taking the win first round and collecting that $100 off the other driver, but there was a problem. When I made the turnoff at the end of the track, the alternator light was flashing in the dash of the Malibu, meaning that the charging system wasn't working. All right, so we managed to get through first round there. I kind of babied it out of the hole just a little bit. I didn't just flat foot it when it left the starting line. I kind of just eased it out, but based on what I felt there, hell, it probably could have taken it. So we'll see how things go. Right now we got a charging problem. Battery light's flashing, so I don't know if the alternator's working. Robbie's gonna try and find me a voltmeter so we can check it, but for some reason the alternator light's on, so may not have an alternator to go cruise this weekend, so I'm a little aggravated about that, but maybe we can find a parts store around here someplace that's got an alternator. We'll see here in a minute. I immediately got my phone out and found out there was an AutoZone just a few miles away from the track, and I called to see if they had an alternator for an 88 S10. All right, guys, so I got the alternator off the car. Vicky went to AutoZone to go get a new alternator. Hopefully she makes it back here before it's time for my final round appearance. So there's only 4 cars in the class, so I'm in the final. I wish there would have been more cars, but it's fine, it's whatever. But I just need Vicky to get back here with a new alternator from AutoZone before I go up for the final. Maybe if we get done here early enough, we'll head on over to Gatlinburg and drive the Malibu over there, but I got to get this alternator fixed first. Thankfully, Vicky made it back to the track just in time, and the alternator that she brought back was the correct one for the application. The accessory drive on the front of the engine is off Billy's S10 pickup, so the alternator has to be ordered for a 1988 S10 pickup with a 4.3-liter V6 and air conditioning. Luckily, the AutoZone right up the street had one in stock, and once I got it put on the car, the engine fired up and the charging system was working perfectly. The instant I shut the car off, they were calling me back to the starting line for a driver's meeting for the next round. That's when I found out I would be paired up with that white S10, and we both agreed to keep the lane that we were in the round prior. So I'll be in the right lane, the S10 will be in the left. Now, first round, I let the Malibu leave on the primaries of the carburetor and let it leave real easy. But after looking at the starting line, I think second round I can just go ahead and mat the throttle and let the car leave like it normally would. Let's see if we can't get through this round, and maybe if we got time, we'll go cruise around a little bit.
Yep, so you had a little side bet on that first round. You got you $100. Yeah. I figure we ought to go blow it in Gatlinburg.
I figured you were already counting. When I went up to do my burnout, I felt like I was in the tracks right where I needed to be. The burnout felt really good, but unfortunately when I backed up, I think the guys had me out of my tracks about a tire track to the right. So my plan of letting the car leave wide open is about to blow up right in my face. The instant I hit the gas, I knew I was in trouble. The Malibu spun and moved to the right, and even though I pedaled it and corrected it quickly, there was no way I could run down this S10. But it turns out, it was a good thing I was nowhere near him when I got to the finish line. If the Malibu would have hooked on the starting line, we likely would have been side by side at the finish.
Oh my God.
When I saw the S10 make a move towards my lane, I instinctively hit the brakes to give him plenty of room to gather the truck up and for me to avoid whatever was about to happen. Outside of a few rock chips and some dirt flying up at the front of the car, the Malibu and I walked away unscathed.
Okay. I don't know about you, but I need new underwear. How's your underwear?
Mine's fine.
Oh my goodness.
So I hit the gas on that. I really thought it would stick, but it didn't. I had to pedal it. And when I pedaled it, he jumped out on me. And I couldn't run him down, but when he put it in high gear, he came over into my lane, but I don't know whether it was before the finish line or after, I'm not sure. But,
oh, I didn't even think of that, if he crossed.
Yeah.
So we don't know yet. Huh.
I don't know what they're gonna call it.
Huh.
I really don't care. I really don't care. At this point, I was just happy that the charging system on the car was working. The Malibu and I are in one piece, and we've got enough time to head towards Gatlinburg and make it there before sunset. And we fully intend to take advantage of the opportunity to drive the old Malibu right up into the Smoky Mountains to downtown Gatlinburg and do a little bit of shopping. The 45-minute drive to Gatlinburg from English Mountain was pretty uneventful until we actually got to Gatlinburg.
Pulling over.
Look behind you.
Oh no. It just got to town. Oh no.
Now, I was behaving myself. I wasn't acting up or doing anything stupid at all. But I happened to miss a 35-mile-an-hour sign, and I was evidently still going close to 50.
What do you have to say for yourself?
I didn't know it was 35. He was nice. He didn't give us a ticket.
Yes. You got lucky.
Got lucky.
We got a nice little warning to slow down, and we were asked if these tires are street legal.
I was honest.
You were. You said they are stamped DOT radial.
Yeah.
Barely.
Legal.
He says, all right, just slow down. And we had all our proper license, registration, insurance.
It's a miracle.
He's probably thinking, crack a barrel. Like, what? He said, where are you coming from? And you're like, the drag strip over there, English Mountain.
I think when I opened my glove box, he was a little worried because there's wires and boxes and some nitrous controller. All right, let's go eat.
Let's go eat. My goodness. Thankfully,
the officers let us off with just a warning, which was greatly appreciated, especially after the fact that we almost got the car destroyed at the track just about an hour prior. A speeding ticket in Gatlinburg would have definitely put a dampener on the mood. But anyway, now that we're free to go, we found a nice spot to park the Malibu right across the street from this really nice barbecue joint that's known for really good brisket. Bennett's Pit Barbecue has been here in Gatlinburg for over 30 years, right along the river behind the main drag. And even though it was a Saturday night, we got seated without any wait, had a really nice dinner, and then we were right back out on the main drag before the sun went down. We decided to go through the Hollywood Star Cars Museum and check out all the different cars that they had on display. From Fast and Furious to Dukes of Hazzard, and even one of the original Trans Ams that Burt Reynolds drove in one of my favorite movies of all time, Smokey and the Bandit. Another display that really caught my eye was one of the original sheriff's cars from the Andy Griffith Show. And this particular car is even autographed by Don Knotts himself. From there, we moved on to the original Ghostbusters Cadillac ambulance that still has all the equipment in the back, and then the DeLorean from Back to the Future, Cole Trickle's car from Days of Thunder, and one of my most recent favorite movies, the number 98 GT40 from Ford vs. Ferrari. After the Hollywood Star Cars Museum, we decided to take a little walk down through the main drag, and Vicky wanted to do some window shopping, mostly for peanut butter fudge, cookies, and caramel apples. Eventually, we made our way down to Cruise in the Past, where they sell a lot of antique reproduction signs, neon clocks, and one absolutely perfect gift for my brother. Once we finished up doing a little bit of shopping in there, we walked back to the Malibu and decided it was probably a good time to head back towards the track. We got back to the trailer, turned in for the night, and then got up the next morning with a plan to go get breakfast. We decided to take the Malibu up to Cracker Barrel for one last ride together in the car before we have to, unfortunately, head back home to Ohio. What do you think there, Squirrely Locks?
I'm ready for bacon. And you know what?
What?
Kenny and Billy just texted me, sending me pictures of what we're coming back home to.
What is it?
1 to 3 inches of snow.
I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving! We'll just stay here.
I know, it's sunny and 50. It's
Right.
beautiful.
We're just gonna stay here. Unfortunately, staying another day in Tennessee wasn't an option, because believe me, if it was, we wouldn't have left. We packed everything up in the dually and in the trailer, loaded the dogs up, and we headed out the front gate. Although Vicky and I would have liked to stayed, June and Chevy were definitely happy to be headed home. After the first 30 or 40 mile, they settled down in the back seat and took a nap, while Vicky and I talked about all the incredible memories that we've made here in Tennessee. And don't get me wrong, the racing is wonderful, we enjoy it, but there's more to life than just racing. And that's a big part of why I have never, ever had a purpose-built race car. I've always had a street car. On our way home, the farther north we got, the worse the weather became. I found myself continuously turning the heat up in the truck to stay warm, and by the time we got about halfway through Kentucky, it had started snowing. Until this point, I had held out hope that by the time we got home, the snow would be over with, and hopefully the temperatures would just magically rise and melt everything away. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. Although the roads were mostly clear, and thank God for that, it was still snowing when we got home. We went ahead and parked the truck and trailer out next to the shop and let the two heathens out of the truck. I turned the furnace on in the trailer to keep the water tank and the water lines from freezing. I figure I'll tackle that tomorrow after I get done pushing all the snow out of the driveway. Once me and June Pup had the driveway cleared off, Jeremy and I unhooked the dually from the trailer and got ready to start draining the water out of the tank and get everything winterized again. Oh. Usually Kenny Powers takes care of doing that underneath the trailer, but he's not here today. So we're just going to make do as best we can without him. While we're busy outside winterizing the trailer, Miss Vicky's in the office working on merchandise. She had a big order of stuff come in that needs inventoried and put away. And we need to give Uncle Bucko his gift. Hey, Buckwheat.
What do you want?
We got a gift for you.
What?
We got you a souvenir.
Yeah, ha 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 ha. I know exactly where to put that at.
Your garage.
Yeah, right above.
While we were down there, I happened to pick out a sign for myself, too.
Yeah, I like yours better.
Once we were done handing out gifts to Uncle Bucko, I sent him down to Mark's to return that alternator that quit working while I was in Tennessee.
Guess what, chump?
What?
Warranty.
What do you mean?
Malibu.
Not Suburban?
No, I ain't got to that one yet.
Oh, well, looks like the same one.
It's a new one. And no, it's not. This is an older one. The other one's a newer
Are
one.
you sure?
William says the Alternator he bought 10 years ago at Napa works fine.
Oh,
Every time he
that's-
tries to put one of your shiny ones on it.
And it doesn't work. You sure we don't have a wiring problem or something?
Well, I didn't wire it, so.
Oh, okay. Well, we're not sure.
Yeah.
But so that one quit charging?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess
In Carolina or Tennessee, wherever the hell he went.
let's figure this out. So,
Maybe you ought to put it on your tester.
I could.
Now, this is the third alternator that Mark sold me that's quit working, for whatever reason. I don't know whether we're just having bad luck or maybe we do have some kind of an electrical problem.
What's this?
That's the core.
Well, where's the box?
You still have the box.
Yeah, yeah, I wouldn't have given it to you, would I?
No.
I don't trust you with boxes.
Yeah, you
Well,
know
now
what
I
happens.
trust myself now because I don't know what to do with the box.
Oh, maybe it's in this highly organized facility we have here.
Jeremy just loves to antagonize Mark, and today he's got a full rack of ammunition.
William sent Vicky to the zone.
Are you serious?
Get into the zone.
Nothing good's gonna come out of this.
If Mark wasn't tired of dealing with Jeremy, wait till he sees this core.
How long's this been in the back of your truck? I mean, this thing's froze.
The back of Jeremy's truck is home to everything from dead alternators to dead animals, which is why Mark won't allow Jeremy to walk out of the store with a core box in his hand.
Found it.
You didn't find it.
Yes, I did.
That's somebody else's box.
No, it's not. That's my box. It's in here.
Yeah, that's why you gotta change the sticker.
Anyway, Mark ended up getting me an alternator ordered in for first thing in the morning, so hopefully tomorrow I'll have another new alternator to try out on the Malibu. For right now, we went ahead and took the AutoZone one off so that we can return it tomorrow. Meanwhile, Miss Vicky's still busy in the office, working on merchandise, and I've got the old Napa alternator put back on the Malibu until we get a new one in tomorrow morning from Mark. What you doing there, Squirrely?
I'm getting ready for what I need to say.
You got to make notes for the details at the end of the video?
Details should be exact, and I don't want to forget anything.
Okay, are you ready?
I think so.
All right. I'm going to let you lead this deal.
All right.
You're organized and ready to go. There will
Have a
not
list.
be a reason for
You're not
chipmunking.
even going to need to chipmunk me.
Okay, I'm
Okay.
ready.
Signs have arrived.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to start shipping these tomorrow.
Okay.
They look awesome.
They're the new
Yes.
Your EV leaves more gas for me.
With the leggy girl.
Yeah.
All right, so they're here. They're shipping tomorrow. So they're on the website.
Which is?
Updated.
Which is?
theoldmansgarage.shop.
There you go. You didn't
Okay.
have that in your notes, evidently.
No,
Okay.
okay. All the rest of our inventory is updated because we have boxes behind you full of stuff that came today.
Yeah.
So if you've been looking for something and it was out of stock, check again because we might have it now.
All right. Next thing?
Each order through the 31st of this month gets your name and a chance to win a carburetor.
Yep. One of my two carburetors in there on the shelf.
Yes. So
Either
you
a
still
750
have-
gas quick fuel or a 750 gas Proform carburetor. A couple old carburetors. One came off the 55 and one came off, well, it's been on just about everything. But
Yes.
so,
But last it was on Stranger Things.
yeah, the last thing, it was always Stranger Things. Okay.
So anyway, yeah, you have through the 31st, and any order you place is good for being eligible to win.
Okay.
All
Next
right.
thing.
Next is the ATM carburetors are finally going out the door.
Oh, yeah. I
People
saw that today on
ordered, and
Facebook.
He made a post on Facebook and he showed them, and it's like the first two were going out the door. It's
Yeah.
really cool.
So Tim Neely shared a couple of pictures today on his Facebook. The very first two Old Man's Garage series ATM carburetors being shipped out today.
Yep, pretty awesome.
Pretty cool.
So if you want to get one,
ATMinnovations.com.
or you'll put their phone number up and they can call.
Okay.
All right.
Next thing.
Next thing is, don't forget the 10% off codes that we have with Nitrous Express. Use code OMG when you're
Yep.
checking out. You'll get 10% off
Yep.
of anything. And,
NitrousExpress.com.
yeah. And do we have one with Iski too?
No. But I do have one with Jack's Wax.
Oh, that's what I was forgetting.
Aha! And it's a 15%er
Ooh.
at jackswax.com.
So when you check out, put in code
OMG 15, I think is what it is. I have to look. I better
You better
double check.
that.
But yeah, I've got a promo code for Jack's Wax now. It's a
Okay.
15% discount.
Cool.
So, next thing.
That was it. We
That's
got
it?
through it quick.
That's all you
No
wanted to
chip
talk about?
hunting. Yeah. You don't
Well, what
even
about the race weekend? You want to talk about that a little bit? I mean, all the people
What do
that
you
came to
wanna
see
know?
us.
We had a blast.
Yeah, we
it
did
was
have a
sunny. It was nice.
little rider was kind of my favorite thing of the whole weekend, really.
He has the sweetest little grin, and he knows your voice because
Yeah.
it soothes him. They told us when we first met them, he was only 6 months old, and they said that Bill's voice would soothe him when he was fussing. He would just stop and relax, and it's still that way now. So when he hears you in person, he's just like staring, like, I know you. So cute.
And the
But-
boy with the Olds Cutlass that came to see us, it's almost the same color as my Malibu.
Alec, yeah, he was real tickled to meet you, and he even got a little advice on a carburetor he had, so that was cool.
Yeah. There's a lot of really nice people that came to
The
see
people
us.
in Tennessee are always super nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we had a really good time. Didn't do very good racing. There was only
But
4 cars in the class,
It's
and then
January. Just
well-
the fact that we got to be at a racetrack.
for sure, yeah.
I mean,
plus we got to go to Gatlinburg in the car, and that was
Yep.
cool. That was a lot
did
of fun.
you tell them that we weren't even in town for a minute?
It's
and
in the
we got pulled
video.
over?
It's in the video.
I didn't know why
I wasn't.
you were pulling over.
I
and I'm
wasn't
like,
even
"What's
doing
going
anything
on?"
bad. I was just
No.
driving up the road. I mean, it went
Just
from
oblivious that it had gone from
55 to 35.
Yeah.
I was going 52, so it's not like I was even speeding at 55.
No, and we weren't in the part of town that was super congested yet.
No.
It just caught us off guard, and so, but we were lucky, and we got off with a warning.
Yes.
What else?
Trip home was uneventful. No
Yeah.
problems there, although the snow and slush sucked.
Yeah, but by the time we got back to Ohio, they were just wet and.
The dogs had their legs crossed because we didn't let them out of the truck once it started snowing. We weren't letting them out of the truck because we didn't want them tracking snow and salt and crap all over the interior. So they had to ride from, midway up Kentucky all the way home without going potty. We got home and they jumped out of the truck and they were leaking everywhere. You didn't want me to say that, did you?
None of that.
No, they were good.
They were fine. I can't believe you say it.
Well, Scrap shit in the bed down there. Well, I knew it had to have been June, or it wasn't June, because Scrappy shit in June's
You're not
bed.
saying any of this.
Huh?
We're not saying any of that.
That was in the trailer. We had to leave the dogs in the trailer for quite a while we were in Gatlinburg. We came back and it was a mess. It stunk to high heaven in there.
Listen,
What?
you're not saying any of that. So
I am. I just did
doesn't
it.
matter.
It's the truth. It
It's
happened.
being cut.
You didn't have that in your notes.
No. Hey, can we talk about these A1 packets that Jeremy found?
No, God dang it. I told you I didn't want that damn
Who knew that you
video.
could get A1 in a packet? And they fit right in your bed
No,
pocket.
don't stuff them in there.
Listen.
We
this
don't need
is-
any of that crap.
This is a genius idea. I'm gonna get on Amazon and figure it out. And see
Are we
if I can
done?
get some, yeah.
Goodbye, everybody. Thank you
Bye.
for coming to see us. How long are you going to hold that smile?